Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Nourishing Soul. This is the first episode. It's a trial. I actually am recording because I still haven't figured out how to get it to go live stream. My name is Mary Gundrum, and aka Wellness Mary. I am the host, the guide of, and the creator of the Nourishing Soul. I've created this space to help educate, enlighten, expand the consciousness, to bring on different guests with different modalities and education in regards to the world and healing and spirituality and wellness and health and vitality and all of those very, very important things. And we've been kind of knocked on our heads. It feels like someone pulled the rug out from underneath us, because the world as we knew it, as we were programmed to believe, the things that we were programmed to believe have been tumbled upside down. And it's created a very volatile in some areas and a lot of areas of the world. But this focus on nourishing the soul is to really connect to that divinity that we have. It is so, we get so much from going, the quieter we get, we hear more. Now, what does that mean? That means that soul spiritual connectedness and this crazy noisy life. I mean, we're bombarded. There is constant chatter. The phones, everybody's on their phones. I pick my grandkids up from school several days a week, and I stand there in the parent pickup area and I look around, and almost everyone standing there is like this. They're not even aware of their surroundings, if the birds are singing or if the sky is nice and blue and the clouds. And right now here in the US, and coming from New Jersey, the leaves are changing and we're going into seasons, and that people miss it. We miss the beauty of this beautiful creation. Why is that? I heard on a podcast the other day, they called it the mental virus, or the mind virus. And I thought about that and I was like, yeah, because we're being fed and manipulated. And we've had so many things that we were told so often that we began to believe it, whether it was truth or not. For instance, I go to a Reformed Catholic church here, and in the homily a couple of weeks ago, Father Drew, who's amazing, had mentioned, and hopefully we'll have him as a guest on the show at some point. He had mentioned about what fruit did Eve and Adam eat in the Garden of Eden. And right away, you think apple. Well, nowhere in the Bible does it say apple. It says the fruit. So somewhere along the line, they had to put what type of fruit just to give it a name. I don't know. Why couldn't we just say it was the fruit from it was the forbidden fruit, the fruit that they shouldn't have eaten? And, it makes you think. It's like the Mandela effect. We're told something long enough, we believe it. So how much in our lives have we been told that really isn't truth? So what's happening now is the great evolution, awakening, but it's not just for the world, it's for us on an individual level. So hence my motivation to get this podcast going. And I don't know, some of you may remember me. I had another show a couple years ago. It was for a short period of time. And I had left because I knew eventually I was going to branch out and do it on my own. And it took me a little longer than I had anticipated. But if you really believe in everything is in divine timing and order, then this is the perfect time. And when I decided, because I'm going to stream live eventually Tuesdays at noon, and when I decided today was going to be the first of this trial run, pilot, whatever you want to call it, I didn't realize it was 11/11. And as I mentioned the date, I also want to take a moment and give thanks to the vets because it is Veterans Day, and I thank you all for your service. It's very important. So go back to what I was saying. So the craziness, and we're also being woken up to energy. So we are all energy. We are, everything vibrates at a frequency. And something that came to my understanding, it was only maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer, that the earth has a heartbeat. Well, they call it the heartbeat. And that is the Schumann resonance. And the funny thing about it is it's not a new discovery. It has been measured since 1950s. 1950s. And did they just keep it quiet because they didn't want us to know about this vibrational frequency that affects everything and everyone? And it's, I'm going to look at my notes here. It's electromagnetic resonance. And apparently, and I'm not a scientist and I'm not proclaiming to be one or portraying one, I'm going to look at my notes, but I noticed that more and more people are affected by the frequencies of the hertz that come from that. But we're not only getting that, and there's days where you might feel extremely tired, or you could even feel heaviness or sick to your stomach, and there's no understanding of why. You might want to look up the Schumann resonance and see where the hertz is, the level of the hertz. And apparently it's increasing, and they don't really understand why. But there's a lot of things that are changing, and it's beyond. I really do believe a lot of it is beyond our human mind and ability. And that's where the wake up comes from. And a few weeks back in meditation, I was given this vision of the plates, like plates inside the earth, were shifting and changing. And I have psychic gifts, and I've had them since I was a child. So I receive things, and that was definitely a clear message for me, along with the water, the coastlines changing, water coming through the world, through the United States differently than it is now, like almost separating it into different parts. So, and like I said, I'm not a scientist. I just know what I receive psychically. And then I hear that this Schumann resonance, the hertz is rising, and they don't understand why. That's that divine creator. When we look back at like the Big Bang or the flood with Moses and all of these shifts that occurred, they happen, and they happen for a reason. And there's a big reason that things are happening the way they are now. I mean, look at how we, as a society on a whole, not every one of us, are destroying this beautiful creation. We just continue to take more, 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 disposable, toxins, and it's not what was intended. It's like we're eating that forbidden fruit by behaving and being greedy and just excessive in behavior and patterns. And some of us have done it unconsciously. Some of us have done it because we believe that's what we're supposed to do. It's also like I had a practice in Florida when I lived there, and I used to do this exercise with new clients that came in, and I would tell them, start a gratitude list, get a little notebook, and each day write 10 things down that you're grateful for. And before you go to bed at night, reflect on the things that you're grateful for as you're falling asleep. Well, a week later, they'd come back and they struggled with that. And it made me realize that, people think gratitude comes with getting that big promotion or the big fat raise or the big house or the fancy car. I'll be happy when. Yeah, it's so backwards because it's within us. Jesus told us that, whether you believe in Jesus or not, the kingdom, the happiness, everything is within us. We make that choice to be happy. It's our choice. Or we can make that choice to be miserable and wait for the next shoe to drop. So I'm going to go back to the energy. So we know now that the earth is giving off the energy as every single thing does. But our thoughts and our words also create the energy. So, I'm sure you've heard, where our attention goes, the energy flows. So if we are constantly looking at the closed door instead of the open opportunities, then we're shutting ourselves off. We're blocking ourselves from greater gifts and blessings. So instead of just surviving, we could be thriving, but we block ourselves from that. And we do it unconsciously because, when you think about the conscious mind, I'll say to a client, you're not loving yourself. Oh, yes, I'm loving myself. Well, here in the conscious mind, yes, of course. If somebody said that to you, yes, I love myself. But what's going on in that subconscious mind where we spend most of our time? And that's all those false program beliefs. So it's like, So our words and our focus, our thoughts, all have an energy. And I was listening to I think it was Napoleon Hill. He was talking about the aura and how our thoughts change that aura. So if you walk into a room and you're feeling like $1,000,000, guess what? You're going to light up like $1,000,000. But if you walk into a room fearful and insecure, you're going to shrink to nothing. So it's going to be a darker, not as bright as if you're thinking that you're on $1,000,000. So we have to really take that time to be still and to go into the silence so we can hear more, so we can connect more. So Dr. David Hawkins talked about this scale of consciousness. And I'm going to put, if I can figure this out, I'm going to put this up. on the screen, if I can figure it out. Give me a minute. As you can tell, this is why I wanted to practice. Add to the stage. There we go. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but these are our emotions. And this is the scale. So if we're feeling shameful or guilty, or, and fear's in there at 100, anger is 150, this is the lower vibrational frequency there. And as you go up, you get into the higher pride, the acceptance, and we start to expand. So you see the narrow focus on the negative, the shame, the fear, the guilt. It's very narrow. And as we rise up, we expand, and we expand further up with love and joy and peace and enlightenment. So it's not just the thoughts and the energy, but that's also the consciousness. So you're expanding your consciousness more and more by shifting your emotions and your thoughts and your words. It's interesting, but it really does work. It really does. I myself have worked on myself and continue to for so many years. And I've really, as I've expanded, I've also honed in on releasing and forgiving, not just people in my life, but myself. And understanding that my past does not dictate who I am today, nor does yours, nor does it validate who you are today. So I've worked with many people over the years, and I continue to. It's a lot of the same stuff. A lot of different levels. We all have some kind of trauma, whether it's a little t or a capital T. So it's really having the courage to go in and clear it out. We also like to control. We really do. We like to be in control. We want to know. We want to have the answers now. We want what we want when we want it. We're that quick pace society. We like thrill, satisfaction, immediate gratification. That's all programmed. It's all programmed because I'll tell you, personally, I enjoy my quiet. I enjoy being alone. Not always, but that alone time is my much needed time. And I'll talk about it. And you'll hear it say it over and over again. Self-care is soul care. Self-care is soul care. It's what plugs us into that divinity, which I had mentioned, of going within and knowing that truth. But also understanding the things that affect us, like the Schumann resonance, like the energies, the planet shifting, all of these things, the energies of the people around us. Who do you surround yourself with? The music we listen to, that vibrational frequency of music, the movies and television shows and entertainment, the podcasts we watch, all of those things are affecting us. And in this fast-paced, high-technology world, we are being extremely bombarded. The first and second weeks in December, I'm going to have a guest. We're going to do a 2-part series on EMF and the damages and the things that it causes. So you don't want to miss that. Hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to promote and to get all this done. If anybody knows any of this stuff that would like to give me a hand, contact me. You can contact me by going to my website, which, where did my banner go? Nope, that's not it. It's this one. Well, if you want to support me, not support me, but help support the channel, you can buy me a coffee also. But there's my website. Let's see if I can change that format. Edit. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this now. There we go. That's much better. A little ticker tape running. So you can contact me through the website if you have any ideas that you can assist me in any way. I'm good with barter too. So I would appreciate it. But so, yeah, I'm going to have David on, David Baltimore. He is phenomenal, and he's going to blow your mind with the things that he knows and the education he's going to give us. So I'm looking forward to that. So, and that's the other thing. If you would like to be a guest on the show, if you have a topic or something that you would like to discuss, reach out to me as well. I'm always looking forward to, or always looking for more people to share their gifts and their knowledge. So I'm not going to stay on here very long because it is just me. And that's not my intent to just continue to speak. But be mindful of your words and the energies. Do a little research. Look up the Schumann resonance. See where it is. If you're feeling wonky one day, go and look. You just Google it. It's everywhere. And the planets, the stuff that's happening in the sky. And speaking of the planets, I think it's 3 weeks I'm going to have an astrologer on. So we are feeling it. We all are feeling it. And I am grateful to be able to be here and hopefully help you in some way, somehow, whether it's education or an awareness, enlightenment, consciousness. It's all important. It's all important. My purpose is to uplift others. We are here to walk each other home. And next week, next Tuesday at noon, I am going to have another psychic medium on, Dawn Marandino Castorado. I hope I said her name right. She's going to come on, and we're going to have a great discussion about our gifts and her gifts especially, and how it all started for her. I know a lot of people also are having psychic experiences, visions, messages. The veil is thinner. So that's another area where people have questions. I also get clients that come to me wondering about what they're doing and why this is happening. And, I'm going to tell you, we all have that capability. We all have that. We come in with it, but it's not nurtured. It's not expanded upon. When I was a child in the 60s, there was nothing like this. There was no mention. And my family just kind of, I had imaginary friends. And I believed that because they told me that. But then, today, I know it wasn't imaginary friends, and I have a better understanding, but it took me a long time, and it wasn't easy because I didn't understand what I was feeling, what I was seeing, what I was hearing, and what was happening. So it's a great time to be alive, although it's a confusing time to be alive. But it feels like we're coming out of the darkness. We're coming out of the programmed game. I just got this imagery of like pawns on a chessboard, that we were being controlled on the direction. And I don't know why it was pawns, because pawns only can go forward. But, well, I guess we have moved forward, haven't we? So it's really an enlightening, beautiful time to be alive. So don't fear it, embrace it. I know that there are many people that have a challenge with change. But change is growth, change is good. But if you're not deeply rooted in your faith, whatever that looks like for you, knowing your truth, your divinity, you get lost. And I use this analogy quite often. It's like being deeply rooted as a tree. That's your faith. You say deeply rooted. And then when the winds of change, the storms come, you can easily just sway and maneuver through that and not get toppled over and not get spun out of control like those plastic bags that you see blowing around in the wind. I think Katy Perry did a song about that. I don't know, but yeah, we're not lost. We're only lost if we believe we're lost. We're only surviving if we believe we're surviving. We're thriving if we believe we're thriving. If we're believing in lack and we're looking at that fear and we're lack and not knowing and not trusting, that's all you're going to bring in. That's that energy exchange. So raise that vibrational frequency. Get up there to the higher love and gratitude, knowing that it always works out. I used to say to my son, when he'd come to me, I guess it was maybe when he was right out of high school around that time, he would be worrying about something. And I would say, think back of another time in your life that you felt like this, it was the end. You didn't know what to do. And didn't it work out? Because it always does. And the more we trust in that working out, the easier the movement through it will be. We can be our own worst enemies. We put the blocks in front of us. We create greater struggles. My Reiki master many years ago, he said, when the crap's about to hit the fan, you say, goody, goody, what's in it for me? Because that's going to be the big learning, a big stepping stone to the growth. Because that's what it is. It's not, woe is me. It's like, okay, where's my lesson in this? All right, there's a little bit of a bumpy road here, but I got to learn. Why did I attract this in? Once again, energy. What is there here for me to learn from? And that's life. That's really life. Learning to attract the good things into our lives and not think, woe is me, when's the shoe going to drop? Because that's what you're going to get. When you open your eyes in the morning, what are the first thoughts you have? Another day, I got to get up, I got to go to work, Or you open your eyes and say, thank you. Thank you for the breath in my lungs. Thank you for this wonderful day and all of the opportunities and people that it's going to bring me today. The lessons to learn, the expansion, great expectations. Everything is wonderful if you see it wonderfully. Yeah, you fall down, you skin your knee. Not so wonderful. But what caused you to trip? What did you put in front of you to cause you to trip? Yes, not everything we bring in. The universe sends us things as well. because it's showing us. Not only does it bring things in, but it takes things away. And that's a favor. I've noticed people getting taken out of my life very quickly. I don't mean like taken out, but I mean, like I'll meet somebody and I'll think, oh, yeah, maybe we can collaborate or do something. And then the next thing it's like, no. And it happens very quickly, where in the past, I guess my awareness didn't allow it to happen quickly. I would always, see the good in everybody. Like you want to see, great, but you also have to take the rose-colored glasses off and see the reality. And I know, present company included, in romantic relationships, yes, it happens. It happens quite often because, again, it's another thing. When people come to me for readings, a lot of them, the typical stuff, relationships, money, career. But relationships, I got to say, is most likely, the highest on there for people wanting to know, when am I going to meet him or her? How about meeting yourself first? Because that's, again, thinking that the happiness is outside. Not true. And if you're not vibrating at a good frequency, guess what? You're going to attract that lower vibrational person in. There's your lesson. There you have it. So do a little research. Look at the scale of consciousness. Just Google that as well as the Schumann resonance. And start to go within more. Take some time in the stillness and the quiet. Put the phone away. You can turn it off for a little while. Shut out the noise. Most people say, oh, I can't meditate. Well, you know what? Thoughts don't stop coming. It's where our focus is. So we have to let the thoughts go through. That's key. That is key. Journaling. I talk about journaling all the time. I do it every day myself. It's really, it helps in so many ways for so many things. And maybe someday we can do a podcast about journaling. But for now, I think I've spoken enough. I hope that I can figure out how to get this out there correctly, and that I can get followers. I know I have followers on my socials, but I'm really, this is really taking that leap of faith, stepping outside my comfort zone. What's the worst thing can happen? I just got to do it. I'll figure it out. If you want to help support, that QR code up in the corner is for the Buy Me a Coffee. Anything would be very helpful. And visit my website. Contact me. If you have questions or struggling, I do free consultation calls for the counseling. I also do free consultation calls for that holistic health. I am running fabulous specials on readings right now. So visit the website, check it all out. And I am grateful for your presence. I bless you all, and I will see you next week. Take care.